Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Hey, I want to do a quick video today. Yesterday, one of the guys in my office walked in and he's got 5 kids and they're all pretty young. I think they're under the age of maybe 8. And he mentioned to me that kids are driving his wife and him crazy. And he knows I have 6 kids and 2 of them are on the autism spectrum. So he asked me a pretty simple question. He said, "How, is there a way to keep your kids from driving you crazy?" Because he says, I get home from work and I'm exhausted, and he said my wife is obviously exhausted. 5 kids under the age of 8. She's home with them all day. And you got any tips or techniques for my typical kids? And it's a good question, because during the summer these kids just have too much time sometimes, and they can start to really kind of pester us as parents and just be relentless in their requests for things and food and all these kind of things. And so I shared with them one of the things that we did when our kids were a little bit younger, and we still periodically do it. But that's this is when they were younger, we decided, and I've talked about this a little bit, how my wife has different things she does on different days. But when you have a lot of kids, each one of them wants what I'll call specific time for them. And as I talked with my coworker, he said, I've got 5 kids, and if I want to give each of them an hour a day of just personal time, that's 5 hours a day. And if I don't get home from work till 7 o'clock, there's no way I can do that. And I get that, and nobody really can. I mean, you might be, if you got 1 or 2 kids, give them an hour each a day, but we're still kind of pushing it, because we're obviously tired from our day's work and all those things going on. So one of the things that we used to do, and that had a really profound impact on our family, was we had a day of the week that we kind of devoted. I wouldn't say devoted, but the kids knew that was their day. And my oldest, his day was Monday. My second, his day was Tuesday. Day 3 or Wednesday was the 3rd child. Thursday was the 4th. You get the idea. And I have 6, so it was Monday through Saturday. Each kid had their own day. And what we would do with the kids and how we would make it their day is we would say, today, as a family, we're going to do what you want. So we're going to spend an hour doing whatever you want to do today. And we couldn't just leave it wide open to whatever they wanted, because we'd get some crazy requests like, going to the lake. You can't do that. And those kind of things. So we kind of made a list of things that we could do together as a family. For instance, one of our boys loves to play card games like Uno and that kind of stuff. So on Mondays, that was one of the things that he chose to do for an hour. And we would all participate as a family. And it was kind of cool, because each of the kids knew when their day was coming. And they kind of knew what options they had. I mean, it's not unusual for my 2 boys that are on the spectrum like to paint. And so we'd all, as a family, kind of get some brown paper in a big roll and rip some off and just grab paintbrushes and water-based paint and just have a great time with it. And so, these are the kind of things that we tried to do with the boys to make it kind of their day, a day specifically for them, and they really look forward to that. So that was really helpful. And what it seemed to do is it seemed to give them something to look forward to, number 1, and number 2, feel like they were the center of attention on that specific day. And so we were able to spend an hour a day and really fulfill the needs of each of our children. And hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I explained it properly. But if you're religious, and we are as a family, one of the things that we also did on their day was we would have what we call family prayers in the evenings as we all got settled down to go to bed. And I usually lead those family prayers, and I would make it a specific point to express gratitude for very specific things for that child on their day. And I'll be honest with you, that to to me, I think, made a more profound impact on them than actually letting them decide what they wanted to do on what day. You know, when you kneel as a family and you say, today we're especially grateful for Jack, and describe the specific things you're grateful for and ask for specific blessings for that child, they notice and they pay attention to those prayers. They listen intently. And knowing that your brother, or knowing that your brothers and sisters are being prayed for specifically, which, you know, a lot of us do anyway. A lot of us pray for our kids, have unique prayers for our kids all the time, but they just don't know it. I mean, it's not all the time that they get some insight into really how important they are to us. And so for them to hear you pray about their brother and realize the next day Dad's going to be praying about me can really have some big benefits for those kids and for your family, and to tighten you up as a group. So, you know, I just wanted to share that with you today. And it also provides a lot of structure for our kids that are on the spectrum. You know, they need a lot of structure, and kids in general, I think, probably need more structure than we give them credit for. But going through that process and making it a consistent thing was really an important part of our family, and still is. We aren't as consistent as we used to be as the kids have grown up, but certainly, you know, we look back and we talk about those times where each of them had their own day with fondness. And you know, I'll share one thing with you. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with my 22-year-old who's back from college, and he spent 2 years living in Argentina, and so he's experienced a little bit of the world. And he and my older son are traveling a lot now, working. And when they came home last weekend recently, you know, we had a chance to have a kind of a one-on-one discussion with the two of us, and he mentioned and talked about some of those times being critical to him, and how he was going to implement those into his family. And so if you want to know what impacts kids, the things that they tell you they're going to implement into their families, you know they're impactful. So results are there. Try it. You know, decide what day you're going to give to each kid. Let them choose their activity. It doesn't have to be a fancy activity. Maybe give them a list of things that they can do, and do that with them. Let them be the focus. Let the rest of the family join in and give each child their own day. And then maybe even if you pray over them specifically with them, and let everybody else hear it. What a great thing it's been for our family. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Hopefully it's helpful for my buddy. I think we had this discussion. I just wanted to share it with you. So have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.